This is what our super sport dream looked like a few years ago. The Triumph Daytona 675R. The only real track-focused weapon that we had on offer in India. And my God, was it sensational. As until Triumph decided to pull the plug on it in 2017 and leave this super sport space completely exposed to unrivaled supremacy. Something which Kawasaki had been eyeing for quite some time now, and they seized full control of earlier this year by the launch of their lime green Screamer. Now, I won't lie, I was wailing like a baby when the first images of the 2019 ZX6R hit the internet. I mean, I know looks are subjective, but come on, the previous generation ZX6R looked like $1 million. This, in comparison, looks like an offshoot of a one-night stand between the Ninja 400 and the ZX10R. But then again, who gives a flying rabbit about aesthetics when you can pick one up for just 10.49 lakhs and then make angry love? It sounds like this. A 130 horses, that's 136 with the ram air, which bury the rear tire into the ground as this inline-four 636cc Screamer is spinning at full shaft. And scream it does, delivering all its firepower at 13,500 RPM. I mean, even the torque is delivered at 11,000 RPM. So peaky, you bet. And yeah, it really comes into its own above 7,000 RPM. But to be fair, things are not so bad lower down because of the new shorter 1543 final drive, which means that this pulls up with anger as soon as you crack the whip. And more than that, I also love the way it delivers this power. It's really nice and smooth and refined. The handlebar and the pegs are well damped, which means you have the best sensation between your legs as the ZX6R explodes into a screaming, kicking rage. That makes good stoppers the need of the day. And the Nissan monoblock does not disappoint. You have really strong bite, really good consistent feedback, and even though this gets rubber hoses, I did not really encounter any fade here at MMRT. You might face it when you're at a track like BIC with really long straights and you're braking at really high speeds. So yeah, I would have loved the steel braided lines. But otherwise, the Kawasaki has you covered on pretty much all counts. You get a quick shifter as standard, which works like a charm. 3 modes traction control, 2 power modes, fully adjustable show our big piston separate function forks, a new dash with fuel gauge and range. You have adjustable clutch and brake levers, equipment that allows you to tweak and transform the 6R into the track weapon you want it to be. Stiffening up the suspension and lowering the tire pressures really laid bare the racing roots of the ZX6R. I mean, the bike felt nice and taut under hard braking, the weight transfer was smooth, the Showa suspension just floated over the bumps here at MMRT. Also, for a road track compromise, the feedback from the perimeter frame is very good. It doesn't turn in as quickly as the Daytona, it's not as sharp or quick on its feet, and you do feel its 198 kgs curve weight during quick change of directions. But once you have it laid over, it will hold the line like its life depended on it. And then you have its 1400 mm wheelbase to really power out of corners with a lot of confidence and leave huge black lines on the asphalt. I think this is also down to the connection you feel between the throttle and the rear tire, because that's something which I have missed on the new generation ZX10Rs, especially after Kawasaki introduced the ride-by-wire system. This is traditional, cable operated, and I love it. The only thing, if you ask me, which I really missed on this bike here on the track were the tires. I mean, you have the Battle Axe, Bridgestone Battle Axe S22Rs, which are good road tires, but here on the track, they just did not cut it. They just failed to give the amount of grip and feedback which was necessary to really push this motorcycle. I really wish Kawasaki would have allowed me to slap on the Michelin slicks, because right now I feel we have just about skimmed the surface and the tires really did not allow me to showcase what this motorcycle can truly do here on the racetrack. So on the whole, the ZX6R has me floored. It's a really nice option even for new guys upgrading to a bigger bike, because in the lower revs it's nice and docile, it's not at all intimidating. For the experienced folks, it has more than enough firepower up in the rev range, you know, to really ride this bike like it's meant to be ridden, a super sport. And also in terms of equipment, man, it's loaded, right? You get so much equipment, and equipment which works in terms of the brakes, in terms of the suspension. The only thing I could complain about was, yeah, maybe the looks and the tires. The 6R essentially makes folks like me, journalists, look really bad. And to be honest, that's okay, because you gotta give respect where it's due. Because there's absolutely no denying the fact about the value that this brings to the table. I mean, consider this. This makes 12 horsepower more than the Daytona, gets a quick shifter as standard, and it still costs 20,000 rupees less than the standard Daytona when it was still available 2 years ago. That's monster value for a phenomenal bike. And as far as I'm concerned, I give it a big thumbs up.